What chance do we normal folk have? I like this guy. This time last week, I had a comment left on one of my old videos. It was geared at trying to belittle what I do, linked to how much money I make on eBay, or in their case, not enough money on eBay. So what I did was I read out the comment, did my reaction, and they've come back and they've commented again. And just like that first comment they made, this has got a few bits intertwined into it that I've been thinking about for a long while myself as well. Now, usually when I get a bit of backlash or negativity on YouTube or Instagram, I don't really think much of it. But this guy in particular, right, he's put a bit of work in and he's built some logical arguments in here as well. So if you read between some of the derogatory comments, there are some good points in here. As a bit of background, if you're new to the channel, I'm a part-time eBay reseller. I sell on eBay as a hobby. I make about £500 profit per month and I make videos about it. And I'm just going to crack straight into this comment, right? So it starts off, with the greatest of respect, in my opinion, I have you all right. That's a reference to the last video I made where I said that he got me all wrong. In fact, I'm going to read this whole comment start to finish and then I'll dissect it after. Right, back to the start. With the greatest respect, in my opinion, I have you all right. There's no serious attempt to make reselling anything other than a vehicle to prance around on YouTube. You're making £16.60 a day, according to your I make £500 per month video. For balance, my 16-year-old daughter gets £13 per hour for serving ice cream. You protest that you're just showing people how to make extra cash per month. The truth is, they would be better off financially getting a job at Lidl than spending hours at boot sales, listings, packing, posting, and dealing with questions. If a master can only make £16 a day, what chance do we normal folk have? I like this guy. So where's the video about a Lidl's job? After all, it's just about making extra money, as you say. Since you ask, the same goes for YouTube. How many hours do you spend making and editing these videos? I estimate you're on less than £1 an hour in YouTube revenue. Again, happy to stand corrected if you show us your YouTube revenue page. All in my honest opinion. Now, believe it or not, I agree with a lot of points in that comment. But before I go back and just offer my opinion on some of those themes, I think it's important just to clarify what my baseline is. Like, where am I starting from right now financially on eBay and on YouTube? Well, eBay, I've been open and honest as I go through. My aim is to make £500 profit per month on eBay. I don't think that we're disputing that with this comment. I have done a video previously just breaking down how much I do earn on YouTube, but that was a while back, so I think it's a good time to have a bit of a refresher now. And typically this year, income has ranged from between £300 per month and £500 per month. My YouTube income in October was slightly higher than other months. It came in at just over £500. But if we assume that my average YouTube income is about £300 per month, add that to my £500 profit off of eBay, I'm coming in at about £800 profit per month. Back to the comment. So, there's no serious attempt to make reselling anything other than a vehicle to prance around on YouTube. So, just looking at the breakdown of my numbers there, you can see eBay's bringing in the majority of 500, YouTube's bringing in 300, but with the potential to rise up to 500. But really the split is about 60% eBay, 40% YouTube. So there is a serious attempt to make eBay and reselling work for me. That's the predominant money maker for me in this hobby. But then it would be wrong of me to not admit that, yes, I am trying to gain revenue from YouTube as well. I am. And because reselling and eBay is the source of my content, it is my vehicle to prance. I mean, he's right there. He's right. I've got no shame in saying there are certain things that I've done with eBay and reselling to make a good video. For example, rather than just going around the same charity shops picking up the same type of stuff, I do try to go to different areas and explore different niches and research different toys and different things for my own interest, but also just to make a more interesting video. Look at the videos I make with Connor the Welsh Poker Picker. Those videos, I just love going to meet up and just having a chat with another reseller. Yeah, we go around and pick a few things up, but I'm sure I would do a lot better if I wasn't actually going around with him and just picking stuff up to sell on eBay. A video like this, for example, I use YouTube as a way of just expressing how I'm feeling and just discussing things that are on my mind to do with reselling. Let's get into the money side of things though. Look, you're making £16.60 a day according to your I make £500 per month video. Well, that's not true. That's not true. That, right, is averaging a £500 profit per month and dividing that by the number of days in a month. That gives you £16.60 per day. I think the best measure of money made off of eBay and YouTube is kind of working it down at an hourly rate. This was eye-opening, actually. I find it really difficult to separate the amount of time I put on eBay and the amount of time I put on YouTube. I can't split the two, really. Whenever I'm going around sourcing, I'm obviously there doing eBay stuff. That's eBay time. But when I find something, I might whip out my camera and just film for 30 seconds as I'm finding it and as I'm buying it. So the YouTube and eBay time kind of merge. Similarly, when I'm going around picking stuff and showing you what's sold, well, I'm already out here doing the picking stuff for eBay. I might add on another 15 minutes as I film kind of the video and showing you what's sold. Difficult to split those two apart. But what was surprising was actually how many hours I spend doing eBay and YouTube per week. And all in all, I worked out, if you look at a normal 9-to-5 job, 7.5 hours a day, eBay and YouTube, I work the equivalent of 3 full-time working days. Let's say 22 hours 50. Well, if you go back to the £800 profit per month, considering I'm spending 22.5 hours per week to make that, that works out that from this, I'm only making just over £9 per hour. And when you compare that to £13 an hour for serving ice cream, that hit home a little bit. You protest that you're just showing people how to make extra cash per month. The truth is, they would be better off financially getting a job at Lidl than spending hours at the boot sales, listing, packing, posting, and dealing with questions. Now, I can only relate this to my financial situation. And reading what this sentence is trying to get across, it is true. It is true. And this is something that I've been wrestling with. Now, I started reselling on eBay and making YouTube videos and taking it seriously, mind, about 4 years ago. It coincided with when both of my boys were preschool age. I was looking at childcare options. So when I was in work, where could I put my 2 boys in childcare? But the cost per day was the same amount as what I was earning in work. So I was dropping my boys off and paying someone else to look out for them while I go into work and just earn enough money to pay that person to look after my kids. Well, you know what? I thought, why don't I drop my working week down from 5 days to 4 days? I can't do my full-time job in any less than 4 days a week, but I can sacrifice one day. And rather than paying someone to look after my kids, I can have the kids with me and I can spend that time with them. At that point, I was no financially worse off doing that. And if I could make some money on eBay and YouTube at the same time, I was cash positive overall. After a bit of time then, my eldest went into school, so I only had my youngest with me, the Jellycat guy. But what this meant now is if I worked in my full-time job for that one day, I'd be making more money off that day than I would be than if I just paid someone to look after the Jellycat guy and I earned my salary. At that point then, I made sure eBay and YouTube was bringing in more money than my salary minus the childcare fees. I was still financially positive. This all changed a couple of months ago though, because my youngest is now in school, so I don't have that childcare saving. What that means now is I'm only working 4 days a week, and on my day off, that's all it is. It's a day off. It doesn't have a purpose of trying to save childcare, or the bit that I enjoyed the most out of it was spending time with my boys. I choose to use that time to do YouTube and eBay because that is a hobby, and I enjoy doing that, of course. But if I'm thinking of this from a purely financial point of view, the obvious decision is to go back to my full-time job. But if I was to go back to my full-time job, then I couldn't go sourcing on a Wednesday. And if I'm not sourcing on a Wednesday, going to the charity shops, finding bits to sell on eBay, then I don't have anything to sell on eBay. And without that eBay, I've got no content for YouTube. So why do I keep doing eBay and YouTube? Well, there is that financial side of things. I know I said it was, what, £9 per hour, something like that. A lot of that time is dead time anyway. And what I mean by that, right, is say like I spend 2 hours per night on average. Well, I'm usually doing my eBay stuff while I'm doing something else. You know, if I'm doing some listing, I might be watching the TV in the background, might be listening to the radio, might be doing other stuff as well. So really the hourly rate I think is higher than that. Secondly, when I'm in my eBay and YouTube mode, that is it. That is all I am concentrating on. Everything else is just blanked out. It's a really big stress reliever for me. A lot of people, when they unwind from work or unwind from their kids, will go and do whatever. Me, this is my unwinding. And it works. Thirdly, we've worked out that actually on my 4-day-a-week salary, that is enough. That can maintain everything we're doing here. And we're still saving off of that as well. So the pressure in a way to earn on that 5th day is gone. Yes, I put my own pressure on to try and make some money, to try and be useful in that time, but really, if I don't hit those targets, there's no consequence. There's tons of other benefits of eBay and reselling and being on YouTube. I've met some people that our paths just wouldn't have crossed, and we are now really good friends because of all this. I'm a naturally inquisitive person anyway, and this, right, allows me to explore and research lots of different things and gather new interest in those different things. eBay reselling is addictive, right? It's true what they say about the buzz. I'll show you something now. There is it. Over the summer, I picked up these 2 watches. These are Citizen watches. I paid £25 for the pair. This is a Citizen Eco Drive. I stuck this up over the weekend. That one is sold £225. It's the treasure hunt, right? Now, where I source from, charity shop, boot sales, it puts you in the environment when you can come across all types of stuff, secondhand stuff from my collection. Over the weekend, right, on the way back from football practice, I dropped in all my postage and we popped into the charity shop next door. And my boy plucked this out of the 50p bin. That is Night Ops Bumblebee. I collect Transformers, right? That one there is a 15 quid Transformer. Bit of resale value in there, but that's not for sale. That's for the collection. The excitement of my son's face when he come across a Transformer in the bin, he just couldn't wait to come up and tell me. He was transforming it, showing it, he was checking it was all there. If you think about this financially, look, I could have worked an extra hour overtime in work and just bought that off of eBay. But where's the magic? Where's the story? Where's the moments? Where's the creating the memories? The one thing that's keeping me involved with eBay and YouTube at the minute is a hobby that I enjoy and I love it. And I don't think it needs to be any more than that.